Hey everyone, welcome back to Jedi Academy. I am Obi Ben Kenobi, and with me is my friend, my Jedi Master Tuck. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you. How are you today?
This is going to be an interesting episode we're
I,
talking about.
I think so. Yes.
We we've gone through episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, which means we're getting into the last Jedi today.
Yes.
But before we do, I want to go over these pictures that came out a few days
Sure. Right.
ago, and
Yeah.
let's go over them. There's three. They're from the new Obi-Wan show. So here's the first one.
Yeah. I like that one.
Oh, yeah, what do you think is happening here?
I think this is still on Tatooine. This is probably going to be early in the show. Him either finding why he's. This is where we're going to figure out why he's leaving Tatooine. I think,
Okay.
or in that same area of time.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, having seen this specific area before?
I don't know. I haven't seen anything that says we have no, but I mean, I would assume it's. Wouldn't you think it's Moss Isley?
Yeah, I mean, it even looks like most Isley. I mean, kind of looks like the place in Shakku where Ray and
Yeah.
Finn were, but
I mean, it could
uh,
be Moss Espa, but I
yeah,
would think it would be Moss Isley.
no, you're probably right. You're probably right. And here's the next picture. Okay, this is an interesting one.
This one is interesting because what planet is this?
I don't know. What do you think?
It I don't think it is, but it looks like Coruscant.
It looks like the bottom level of Coruscant. Could that be?
Maybe, yeah, because that looks like. Remember when they're chasing the bounty hunter after she tries to kill Padme and they track her into that club. This kind of looks like that same area
Maybe
or
he's going
or
to buy.
similar area.
Maybe he's going to buy some death sticks.
Right. Exactly right.
You want to buy some death sticks? Yeah, maybe he's in the moon today. You don't know.
No, we don't know.
And the final picture, the Inquisitor.
Yes,
What do you think of this?
I like it. I overall I like it. I didn't really have an issue with the original, trailer footage of him, but I do think it looks a little bit better. It looks like maybe they kind of lengthen the top of the head a little bit, but overall, no, I like it. I think it's fine.
Do
I
you
love the I
think,
love the design of the lightsaber too. It looks just like from the Clone Wars and Rebels and stuff. So
me too, I
or
love that
Rebels actually
lightsaber.
Rebels.
Do you think we will get a lot of this guy?
Wow, a lot. I don't know about a lot, but I think we'll get more. I think we'll get more of him than Vader overall.
Okay, that brings up an interesting question. How many episodes are we getting? Do you remember?
I,
Six,
I I've
eight?
heard it's six. It's still 6 episodes, and we're getting two
Okay,
right off the bat.
okay. So, overall, under 3 episodes, we get the Vader.
Before we get Vader, like into the
No, total. How
oh
many
total,
in total do we
yeah,
going to get of him?
over under three. I would say that's a push only because I think that's what it's going to be about three because I think we'll get one with the first initial them talking or whatever, and then I think we'll get probably the last 2 episodes will be a combination of them talking and fighting at some point and flashbacks and things like that. So I mean, we don't know.
Okay, here's a question.
Sure,
Three episodes with Vader. How many do we get of Anakin?
I think one. I think
One,
we'll only get one episode of him in, as Anakin. Christian Hayden as Anakin.
do you think we get like a whole flashback episode of Anakin and Obi-Wan?
Something like that, because I don't think they're going to do what they did with Boba Fett, which is give us a flashback, half the episode, in the. I don't think they'll do that again. So I think we'll get a more streamlined story where that'll be a part of the overall arc where we get to that point where the flashbacks need to give us more context, and they'll use that episode wherever it is to do that.
Let me ask you,
Sure.
we're a month out. What's the one thing you're dying to see from the show?
Just how Obi-Wan and Vader interact.
Okay.
I want to see that conversation as much as I want to see the lightsaber fight. I want to see what they talk about, like what Favreau and Filoni have been coming up with, for them to actually say to each other.
Okay.
Because this is big. I mean, it really is big for fans. This is a big moment in history of Star Wars. So, in the timeline.
I think I asked you this before,
Sure.
but I'll ask you again. Is this the most important show for Star Wars?
So far, yeah. And even in the foreseeable, I mean, this is bigger than Andor. This is definitely bigger than Ahsoka. Well, I don't know. Ahsoka could rival this when it comes out. Because there are a lot of Clone Wars and Rebels fans that I think that show's going to do really well too. And I think new people are going to be able to come into that show too. So that one could be just as big, but I still think Obi-Wan overall is a bigger character. So yes, this is definitely the bigger show, that's coming right now, or that they've done.
What do you think would it mean if this hits it out of the park? Do you think this
I
will
think that solidifies Star Wars for the future. I don't think we'll ever have if this is good, we will always have Star Wars content coming to us in some way, shape, or form, whether it's movies or these shows. And now, from what I've heard, there's rumors of the Luke show possibly coming because the deep fake was accepted so well in Boba Fett.
Oh, really? I never heard that.
I again, it's rumors. It's nothing confirmed or anything, but that I want that more than Obi-Wan. I would have to be honest.
Okay, let me ask you this. Celebration is coming up.
Yeah.
Over under 15%,
Okay.
we get an announcement of a Luke Skywalker show.
Oh, I think that's under. I don't think they're ready for it yet. Yeah, even if they are talking about it, I can't imagine that they're that ready for that show to come out or even talk about it. But I mean, because I still think Sebastian Stan is the one that needs to play Luke, and while he's young enough to do it.
So let's talk about this for a minute. If they do a Luke Skywalker show, do they deep fake or do they recast with like a Sebastian Stan?
I think if you get Sebastian Stan, you can do a combination of both.
Oh, okay.
Because you don't have to change his face as much to look like Luke. He already kind of looks like Mark Hamill. And if they de-age him a little bit and just sort of kind of have Mark Hamill's like layer face over him, something like that, where they could mesh the two together and it still be Sebastian Stan, but sort of just to look more like Luke, kind of have Luke's features over him. Because I don't think they're far off enough where it would be hard for them to do that technology over him. And I think he has the physical ability to be Luke in his prime, which is what we've always wanted. We want to see Luke at, 25, 30 years old, which was right after Return of the Jedi, where he's at his peak, which we saw it in Mandalorian a little bit, but I want to see that. I want that Luke every day.
What would the perfect Luke Skywalker show be for you? Do you have one?
I kind of want to see him rebuilding the Jedi Order. Let's see the Ben Kenobi story. Let's see Snoke and Ben Kenobi and all that stuff. And I think the perfect opening to that is you show the Battle of Jakku and him pulling one of the destroyers out of orbit, and because the I believe it's in the novelization of Force Awakens that that's the destroyer that Rey is in is the same one that Luke crashed to the planet during that battle.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was in orbit, and he pulled it out of orbit and literally crashed it into the planet. And that's the same one that she's apparently in the Force Awakens, which I
Interesting.
think is a cool. That would just be a cool opening scene. Just see Luke there using the Force, pulling that thing down. Come on, man, that would be one of the greatest opening scenes to a show ever.
Yeah, yeah, it would.
And then you flash forward to him building the Jedi Temple and bringing Ben in, and I think that would be a cool series.
What would you do with the Leia character? Because Leia and Han would have to be in this.
You could expand on that training scene.
Okay.
Yeah, you could definitely show more of her training. But remember, Leia walked away and wanted to only be in politics, and it really wasn't until she was outed as Vader's daughter that people stopped trusting her, and that's when she started the rebellion against the New Order, or not started it, but that's when it really got in that's when the New Order sort of surfaced at that point,
Let
because
me
she
ask,
was in the New Republic, the new government that took over after the Empire, but they outed her as Vader's daughter, and they were like, well, we can't trust her. She's Vader's daughter. That was in the books, though. That
let
was
me
in between 6 and 7.
right. Let me ask you. If, and this is a giant
Okay.
if we do get a look in the Outlook series,
Hmm.
do we get an episode with Luke, Leia, and Han?
I hope so. I would hope so more than anything. Yeah, I mean, to see those three together, it sucks. It can't be the original, actors again. But yeah, if they could get Mark Hamill and Harrison Ford to come back, get her daughter to play her, and just superimpose her over, deep fake her over her daughter.
How old is her daughter? Do
Oh,
you
I'd
know?
say 20s, maybe 30, early 30s. I'm not 100% sure, but I know she was in this movie. She was in this one. I think
Oh,
she's in all three, isn't she? I think she's in all three.
yeah, I think so too. I'm
Yeah,
just thinking.
because I know they were really close at the end.
I
Because,
know, but
well, who played her in Rogue
I,
One? That's
I'm
the other
almost,
question.
I'm almost afraid to ask.
Okay.
Can she act? I mean, well, she wasn't these,
I
but
don't know. Right. No, that I don't know. Yeah, that's why I said it would have to be a deep fake, basically, where you put Carrie Fisher's face over hers and just have her sort of do the body motions and let Carrie's, performance sort of carry it, I guess. But I don't know. I don't know how they would do it.
would fans be upset
I don't know.
if they get Millie Bobby Brown to act as they are, but superimpose Carrie's face on hers?
Right.
What do you think of that?
I don't have a problem with it personally as a fan. Again, I mean, look, you can't replace Carrie Fisher. You can't replace Mark Hamill. You can't replace Harrison Ford. We all know that, and that's never going to change. But at the same time, if we want to see these stories continue and we want to see more details about their stories, we have to let go at some point and let other people take over.
Right.
So I don't have an issue with it as long as they're not doing it for a cheap money
Right.
grab. As long as they're honestly trying to tell a story that we want to know and we want to hear about, I think it's okay. I think it's okay.
And if they bring back Han, will they bring back Alden Ehrenreich?
Probably,
Yeah.
probably. And again, deep fake young Harrison Ford over him. I think that makes the most sense. If they can do that technology that well,
Right.
I think it
Yeah.
makes the most sense. And how are you going to get better at it if you don't continue to put it to use publicly? as far as putting it in the shows.
You, you're right. Have you ever seen? This is a few years old now. Have you ever seen that Back to the Future clip on YouTube where they superimpose Tom Holland and Robert Downey?
Yes, yes. As I said, that technology is coming along a lot, and now that guy that did the deep fake, he was hired by Disney after he redid the Mandalorian episode,
Right,
and so he's got the full power and full money of Disney to back him on that technology, so he can take this as far as he wants, I think.
right.
So I, I think we're going to get more of that. I really do. Now that I don't think they hired him for no reason.
It's going to be interesting. Yeah, I'm excited.
I mean, because you think would they really pay this guy millions of dollars to do one episode of Mandalorian a season?
No.
You know what I mean?
They want him for the long haul. I agree with
Right.
you. They want
Yeah.
him.
That's why to me it just makes sense that they're going to do something, either a Han, a Leia, because I would like to see a Leia story of her on Alderaan.
Me too. Me too.
Even if it's like this, an Obi-Wan, sort of 6 episode miniseries kind of thing. Even I would like to see just something about her time there.
Well, yeah, I would too. Most definitely.
You know.
Well,
Like you said, Millie Bobby Brown, they had her almost cast to play her at one point, right? It was close.
I think so. It was rumored. I don't know how I don't know how reliable it was, but I know it was. They were talking about it. They
Yeah.
were talking about it.
Right. Yeah. So we'll see. But it's all interesting, and I think, like I said, I agree with you that we're going to find out a lot at Celebration. Celebration is sort of where it's all going to. I think we're going to get a more clear picture of what they're thinking and where they're heading.
I forget. Have they started shooting Ahsoka?
Shooting, I'm not sure. I know they're at least in pre-production and probably getting ready to shoot because it comes out next year, right? Isn't that
I
the
think they might make this year, but probably next year. I
Yeah.
mean, did you, speaking of Ahsoka, did you hear that they're already talking about Andrew season 3?
I don't. Yeah. See, I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah. I just want to know how they're going to tell this story because this story connects directly to the end of Rebels, the last season of Rebels. So, and that's not something that a lot of people know about other than people that have seen the show, obviously, So I don't know how they're going to get people involved into watching that show. But then again, Mandalorian, nobody knew anything about that. And it's, so.
I think if it's done well,
Right.
I think they will get an audience if it's done well.
Yeah.
It
Right.
might take
There's
a-
got to be that Baby Yoda moment where where they touch fingers at the end. There's got to be that type of moment in this show where they grab you. Like, okay, now I see where this is going, kind of thing.
In episode 1 of Ahsoka,
Yeah.
one of Hayden Christensen shows up. Oh, wait. I forget, when did it take place?
I think it's either an image of Thrawn. It's got to be an image of Thrawn standing there. That would be the last image in the episode 1.
When is this show? Is this after Rebels or is this after Return of the Jedi?
That's the good question because we haven't officially got an answer on when that whole thing happens because that scene at the very you've seen Rebels, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the very end when they flash forward and they're having that scene with Sabine and Ahsoka and they're talking about how there's speculation that could even be after Return of the Jedi or after Return of the Jedi. So we don't have an official time when that takes place. So it's a weird thing. It's a weird thing.
Well, no, wait a minute. I think we do because
We just know it's in the future. We don't know exactly how many years though have gone by.
No, but I think
It could be technically before the Mandalorian even happens.
I thought they made it more to take place right after Boba Fett.
Okay, so that's where you think it's at,
I think it's taking place after Boba Fett.
and that's possible. Like I said, it just hasn't been official. They haven't nailed it down to a time.
And if that's the case, the first episode ends with an image of Luke Skywalker. No, not Anakin Skywalker as a Force Ghost.
Yeah,
Going to Ahsoka. That's how they bring people in.
we have to get that scene, right? Wouldn't you assume that we're going to get that scene as with
Yeah.
her and Anakin talking?
Yes, definitely.
I would assume. I would assume so. In that series for sure.
Okay. I think we put this off long enough.
Because isn't the last time they actually communicate is when they have that fight,
Yeah.
and she says you're truly gone.
Right.
So that's the last time we know that they actually talk.
Right.
So yeah, I think you have to have that scene for sure where they come back together and talk.
Maybe add Luke that too.
And I believe they've confirmed Hayden Christensen is in Ahsoka.
They did.
So we're going to get at least a flashback, and I would assume the Force Ghost too. I would assume both.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, no, I think that makes the most sense.
Okay.
See, that's always the thing. I think that was always the biggest disconnect for me with the original trilogy and the prequels, and why I didn't like the prequels for so long was there's just so many things that we learn afterwards that were just like, well, why is that never mentioned? Why is all of that just forgotten? It's so weird. It's so big. Ahsoka not being in the original trilogy now almost seems like a crime. It really does when you think about how close she was to Anakin and how she would. You don't think she would want to be there with Obi-Wan and Yoda training Luke?
Yeah, but you have to remember when the original trilogy came out, there was no Ahsoka.
Right. No, and no. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it's just weird once you know the whole story.
Right. Yeah.
That she's not there at all. That's all I mean. No. Of course, you can't change it now.
Right.
Yeah.
So
it's just weird things like that because you just kind of think about it and it's like, man, if she was around, Luke would have been even more powerful, in my opinion. Because Yoda was pretty much at the end of his life training him, so he couldn't really show him much other than, the Force itself. But Ahsoka could have really trained him as a lightsaber duelist, and he could have really had a fight with Vader at that point.
Oh man, can you imagine that? Can you imagine that?
That's what I said. It's hard, it's hard to think about that kind of stuff. So, but again, it is what it is, and hey, I'm just glad we have these stories now, and we're starting to fill, and we know the gaps now, and they're starting to be filled in more. So, I am happy about that.
So, are you ready to talk about Jedi?
Let's do it.
Okay, before we get really deep dive into it,
okay,
what are your overall thoughts about this movie?
So rewatching it, I'll admit I like it more overall. Overall, I still think the flaws stick out a big time. I don't even want to say flaws, but just choices that were made, I think stick out more.
Okay.
But overall, I think I do actually enjoy this movie more than I did originally. I do. I think I do like the connection between him and Rey, Kylo and Rey. I still don't like Luke in this at all. I don't like him in this at all. I think all of his decisions are anti-Luke, in my opinion. Just not what. Even as an old hermit, I don't see Luke making these decisions. That's the weird part for me. So, but overall, I did enjoy the movie a little more than I did before. At least that I remember it.
What did you think in episode 8? What did you think of her being a no one, being a nobody? Did you like that?
I still like that storyline better.
Okay.
Yeah. That's one of my biggest notes from this whole movie is I need to know what happened to Broom Kid.
Yeah,
I want to know. I want to know what happened to Broom Kid.
yeah. I mean,
I love Broom Kid.
another thing that really stood out to me.
What's that?
Another thing that really stood out to me
Okay.
is the whole Finn and Rose dynamic.
Yeah.
They were building up to something in this movie.
Yeah. I
And in 9, she's not in 9.
no
She's not in 9.
no. Yeah, I actually like again. I like all the new characters. I really do. I like Holdo. I like Rose. I already, we've already covered last week that we like the new trilogy, the new big three, if you want to call them that. But yeah, they just wait. They just it feels like they had a 4 hour movie to tell in 2 hours. Characters just got and storylines just kind of got left to the side.
What did you think of the Casino Planet?
The what now? The which one?
The Casino Planet.
Oh, I, I don't understand that. I don't get that whole part of the story. Like it just seems so convenient. It's very convenient that they just happen to come out of hyperspace in that area. I don't know unless Leia was already planning to go there for some reason. It's very convenient. It's very convenient.
What did you think about the code breaker? Benicio del Toro, code breaker.
The Codebreaker DJ, yeah.
Yeah.
I like Benicio del Toro. I really do. I love him as an actor. I don't like him in this movie. I don't like the stuttering, and I don't like that he's sort of like he's so cocky, but he throws everything back in their face, and it's like they really didn't do anything. How does he? Why is he in that cell?
I don't know.
Because if they were thrown in that cell with him and he was just taking a nap, was he literally he just needed a place to sleep for the night? Because he literally just walks over to the lock and clicks it and just walks out. So he could have did that at any time. So what was the point of waiting? It just feels like it could have been a point where they could have set up like a setup, an actual setup where he was planted there kind of thing. But how would they even know that nobody knew they were going there for that reason? So that doesn't even make sense. So it's just sort of a weird, like they just happened to run into this guy that is just hanging out in the cell but could get out at any moment. I don't know. It's weird to me. It's a very weird, like it was like they wanted to go somewhere with it but didn't know where to go with it almost.
What did you think? How do you think they handled Mars Canada in this?
I don't understand. I mean, obviously they put her in a conflict, so she can't leave at that moment to come and help them. But I don't see why you do that to a character that you just introduced in the last movie, and overall people seem to like. I mean, I don't remember a lot of backlash of Maz Kanata or anything, so I don't know why you would just kind of kick her out of the movie. That to me doesn't make sense at all. Especially if she's capable of doing this hard task that nobody else can do. And then it's weird choices because they're put on a time clock where they have to do it in such amount of time because the fuel's running out. But then they have to go to this other planet to do it, find this person, and it's weird. I don't know. A lot of it seems like convenience and just like we've always talked about, just no plan at all on where these movies were going, and they just seem to need to fill space with a lot of stuff.
What do you think about Snoke in this movie?
I actually think again this is some of the best work we get from Andy Serkis. This is among his best performances. It really is. I mean, he's scary as Snoke. I mean, I don't think anybody can deny that. It's just the character doesn't go anywhere, but that's not his fault. He does everything he can, with this role. So
I will say that one fight, I've been pretty bad at.
yeah, oh absolutely, yeah, that's a great fight. Yeah,
I know you didn't like how they handled Luke, but what did you think about Luke showing up at
yeah,
the end of the mess with Kylo? What did you
yeah.
think about that?
Again, do you think that's Luke? Is that Luke to you? Is Luke arrogant in any way, shape, or form?
I don't know.
That's arrogant. That's just that to me is pure arrogance. And I don't think that to me just isn't the Luke that I remember. At least, like again, like I said, the way they portray Luke from the original trilogy is at the end of Return of the Jedi, he has centered himself, so
Mm,
he can move forward. And these things shouldn't be getting to Luke so easily, in my opinion.
mm,
Even him with Ray, or sorry, with Kylo, there is no way Luke would ever ignite his lightsaber in that situation. He might be mad and he might say, "Hey, look, I can't let you continue to learn under me," or something like that. But he would never try to kill, even for a second, even think of killing Kylo. There's no way Luke would do that. It's so opposite of who he is, in my opinion.
yeah, yeah, that's a good point. I mean,
Again, he might get mad. He might, kick him out of the academy or whatever. That I could see for sure, but not actually igniting his lightsaber to the point where Kylo thinks it's he's actually going to be killed for a second. I don't see Luke doing that. Luke wouldn't resort to scare tactics on his own nephew.
no, you're
That's
right.
family.
And you're never going against your family.
No,
Yeah,
I mean, if that's the case, then why didn't he kill Vader?
no, you're right.
Why didn't he kill Vader when he had a chance to? It's his father, but he's gone to the dark side. So why didn't he just kill him at that point and say, "You're gone. I can't do anything about it"? No, he fought for. I think Luke would have fought just as hard for Ben as he did for his father to come back.
What did you think of the opening when
Yeah,
Ray handed him the lightsaber? What did you
yeah.
think about that?
I still don't like that. I don't like it. I just don't because again, I think so. She comes up, she gives him the lightsaber, he takes it, and then he throws it over his shoulder and walks away. Then the next thing we see is Chewie kicking in the door and basically saying, "Han's dead, man. Like Han's dead now, and you're the guy you turned your back on and now are running from is the one that killed him, your nephew." And you're telling me that Luke at that point wouldn't say, "Oh, whoa, wait a minute, maybe I made a mistake." I believe he says, "I made a mistake. I need to come back." At that moment, right then and there. Not to mention, I still think like Luke would feel Han dying when he died. I
But
still
not,
believe that.
but not if he really turned off the force.
Well, right. Yes, but yes. Now, okay, so let me ask you this because this is kind of connected to Obi-Wan just a little bit, real quick. Do you think Obi-Wan does the same thing? So he can't be detected on Tatooine? Do you think he's turning himself off from the Force, but not the same way Luke did, obviously, not out of spite or anything, but
I think he's turning it off, but he's leaving on an emergency red phone line where
sure,
if they need him, he'll get there.
sure, okay.
But
I was just curious what your thoughts on that were because I would think that would be one of the only ways he could really keep himself hidden.
I mean, okay, you know what I think. You remember? Yeah, I'm guessing you remember Batman 1966, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Pow,
I,
bang.
I think somewhere on Tatooine,
Mhm.
somewhere in that cave we see Obi-Wan living in, I think there's a red bat phone, Star Wars version. And
Nice.
he's like, Okay, I'm turning it off. But if you need me, call this number and I'll be there.
Yeah. No, and that makes sense. Like I said, I was just curious because I would think that would be one of the only ways he could stay hidden for that long.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, after all, they named Luke Skywalker in his father's hometown.
Where his mom lived with, I mean, his mom was the stepmom of, or uh, the wife of the owner originally, so she would have been known at least a little bit in that area too.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, because before she died, she was married to Owen, to Uncle Owen's dad. So she would have been known at least for a little bit as his wife in that area as his wife. So people would have known her, known that name. You would think.
no, yeah, you're right. Good point, man. Good point.
Okay, so let me. I have one.
Okay,
So I
yeah.
just watched this earlier today. So I took all these notes earlier today. So
Will
they're
you mind?
coming, huh?
Okay.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. So they're coming out of light speed right after Ray is talking to Luke and he throws the lightsaber. And they come out of light speed, and on the table next to Leia is this bottle that starts shaking, and she clamps her fist, and it stops immediately.
okay.
I think that's technically the first time we see Leia use the Force because everybody points to the part where she's in space and she pulls herself back into the ship,
Oh,
but that's before that part.
I forgot about that moment. Yeah.
I mean, it's like a little water, kind of like one of these, wiggle, and it's
Yeah,
wiggling around on the table, and she just clenches her fist, and it just stops moving completely.
I like that. I like that theory. I'll buy that for another.
Yeah, because then a couple minutes later is when the whole Kylo attack happens, and that's when she gets shot out in space, and that's when she, you know, does the Force stuff.
She's
Um,
Mary Poppins. She's Mary Poppins.
no, she is. Oh, she absolutely is. There's no doubt. There's no doubt.
What did you think about that? What did you think about her floating in space?
Oh, I mean, when I first saw it, I teared up. I mean, obviously, seeing Leia use the Force is,
Yeah.
of course. I mean, that's what we've always wanted to see. Is why doesn't she use the Force? Of course. So, yeah, no, absolutely. That was an awesome moment to see, for sure. I loved it. I didn't have a problem with it. I think a lot of people ragged on that part, but I didn't. I didn't mind it. I thought it made sense.
Yeah, me too. I felt the same way.
Actually, I do have a question about that scene because right before that, when Kylo's coming in and he's about to shoot the bridge, he doesn't. One of the other ships next to him does, but he's about to pull the trigger. Are they talking? Are they communicating? Do we know for sure if they actually are talking at that moment? Are they saying, "Hey, I'm here. I'm here. What are you doing? What's going on?" I'm just curious. Like, and I think we talked about this before. Is I want to see the Force. I want to see what they're seeing from their perspective. Like,
Right.
I want to know what it looks like from their perspective.
Um, yeah, maybe.
Because
Maybe.
all we get are these two, back the quick cuts back and forth to their faces, and it looks like they're talking. I mean, it almost looks like they're having an internal conversation with each other. Which, again, we get that with Han in the next one, but why don't we get that with Leia with him? Why don't we get that moment where she's like, "Look, what are you doing? Like, we love you. Stop doing this. Like, what are you doing right now?"
Yeah, I think they're force face timing. Does that make sense?
Well, I call the stuff with him and Ray the Force Skyping. So
Yeah, there you go. They're force streaming on it.
yeah,
Like what you're doing.
yeah, right.
And in Rise of Skywalker, there's force Amazon when he gets the lightsaber.
Yes,
We'll talk about that next week.
yeah, yeah,
We'll
yeah.
talk about that next week.
That one, wow, that one, I'll tell you what, that surprised me more than anything was the teleportation or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, the force moving objects through space. I never seen anything like that done by the force. Not even close to that.
But, but then again, couldn't you say the force is always evolving?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, she's the first one to have the healing since Yoda, right?
Right?
Because
Yeah.
Luke didn't have it. Leia can't do it, obviously, because she's not trained enough. But I'm pretty sure Rey's the first person to actually be able to heal people with the Force
Right.
in a long time. In a long time. So, because even Ahsoka can't do that, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember Ahsoka ever. I mean, I think she has woken like troopers, clone troopers up from being unconscious and things like that. But she's never. I don't think she ever healed anybody. Not that I remember.
Right. No, you're right.
That's a pretty rare ability in the Force, as far as I remember.
Well, after all, don't forget, Rey is all the Jedi,
Yeah, right. Yeah,
as revealed in
yeah,
Episode 9, whatever that means.
yeah. But yeah, again. So okay, that's actually a funny question. If Ray and Kylo, who are not even related in any way, shape, or form, I mean, she's a Palpatine clone, or granddaughter or daughter to the son of a clone, or whatever, however you want to say it. And Ben is a Skywalker and a Solo, or whatever. They're not even related. How are they dyads, but Luke and Leia aren't? Maybe not as powerful as them or whatever, but
I don't think you have to be related to be a dyad.
oh, you don't you're not supposed to be related.
I don't think so.
Yeah, okay. I was
Maybe,
just thinking that their bond in the Force would be way stronger than anybody else's.
yeah,
Not
but
only are they twins, but they're come from Anakin and Anakin and Padme. Well,
how
Anakin,
I, how I took it is that this a dyad is something so rare. It happens maybe once a millennia or
right,
something.
right,
I
yeah,
mean, it doesn't happen all that much.
yeah.
Not that many people know about it.
Oh no, that's definitely how they make it seem. Yeah, no, I agree with you 100% on that.
That's how I look at it. And that, for all I know, I might be 100% wrong.
Oh no, like I said, I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. But like I said, you would just think that so Luke is created from not from he doesn't have a or Anakin, I'm sorry, is created. He doesn't have a father, as Shmi says, and he's the
Well,
chosen one. He's the most powerful force user other than Palpatine, and
yeah,
his kids wouldn't create a dyad in the Force. That's a weird that family is known for stuff like that happening to them.
I mean, isn't it been confirmed or maybe not confirmed, but isn't it heavily suspected that Anakin's dad is actually Palpatine?
Anakin,
Yeah.
I thought it was confirmed that Plagueis created him
Or maybe it was Plagueis.
because Plagueis went to Tatooine to do something. I can't remember exactly what it was, and he used the Force somehow, and because of the way he used the Force, that is what created Anakin inside of Shmi. At least that's what I think is in canon at this point. I'm pretty sure that's canon now.
Alright, I'll buy that.
Yeah.
I'll buy
So
that.
basically, Anakin is the Jesus of Star Wars. I mean, he was created by Plagueis through the Force. But I think he is an answer to what Plagueis was doing. So Plagueis was doing something so like dark, so horribly dark side that Anakin was created to be the light side answer to it, which is actually touched on in this movie when he's talking to Ray and Kylo and Snoke is, and he's saying that I told him the stronger he got, that the his counterpart in the light would rise up. I thought it would be Luke, but it's you. So I think that's what happens is whatever Plagueis was doing on that planet in the dark side, he created the light side version of that, inside Shmi, which became Anakin.
Yeah, let me ask you something. I know this has been rumored and talked about for a while. Would you want a young Plagueis show?
What's that?
Would you want a young Plagueis show?
Plagueis? Yeah. I would like to see a young Palpatine show
No,
of
okay,
Plagueis. Yeah, right. Yeah,
okay, that's what I
yeah,
meant.
yeah.
Palpatine.
But I would like to also see that time period where Palpatine kills him and takes over. I want to see that turn. Yeah, but yeah, absolutely. I would love to see a young Palpatine show for sure of him being corrupted by Plagueis. Yeah, definitely. Because it's very similar to what he does to Anakin. It's very similar.
Who who would you get to play Palpatine? Would you get the fan choice of Tom Hiddleston?
Yeah, that's a good question. Um, you know who I could see doing it? Loki, Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah.
I think he could do it. I think he could pull it off. I like him. He's got the sort of pointy nose too, like like Palpatine does. So I think yeah, they could do. I think they could pull that off.
I could also see Matt Smith being him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I think there's a few people that could do it. I think it's just how close do they want to get to somebody that looks like him? Ian McDermott, or if they just want to go with some actor, that just is good playing the part. Because I think if as long as they're good enough and we really feel like it's a young Palpatine, I think people will kind of let the looks go.
But that's how somebody looks to me comes second.
Yeah,
What comes first for me is acting and do they represent the character?
right. No, I agree. And again, the only reason I think I like Sebastian Stan so much as Luke is because he has proven he's a good actor since
Right.
in the last 10 years or whatever. He has proven that he can play you know diverse parts. So
I'm,
that's
I'm
why I like him.
curious. I'm
Uh,
curious what I'm going to say. Small tangent here.
okay.
What was the first movie you saw Sebastian Stan in?
Sebastian Stan. Honestly, it probably would have been Winter Soldier. I think that might have been the first time I seen him. At least that I remember. At least that he registered to me who he was. I may have seen something else before that.
Hot Tub Time Machine.
Really, is he in that? Oh, then I definitely saw that before that. So yeah, I would have. That would have been.
He's the 80s skateboarding that they fight against.
Really, is he really? Okay, okay, okay.
You
I'll have
know,
to go back and watch that now.
well, I was thinking about a clip and it's fun, man.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to go back and watch that now. That's funny. Yeah, okay.
It's like watching Chris Evans in not another teen movie.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
what? What?
Yep. Yep. Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah. I haven't seen that movie in forever, so I would definitely wouldn't have remembered that.
My first Hot Tub Time Machine
Yeah.
is great.
Oh,
I'm
absolutely.
not getting into the second one, but not the first one.
Yeah. No, I love that movie too. I agree. Yeah. I just haven't seen it in forever, but yeah, I love that movie. That's funny. Okay. So he's the jerk dude from the.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's funny. That's actually funny. I want to see that now again because I like to see him play that. That's probably a good part for him.
He's great in that. And his, ah, mm, chef.
Is he the one that gets his arm? Something happens to his arm?
That's Crispin Glover from Back to the Future.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. We'll say I remember something happened to somebody's arm in that movie. They lost their arm or got something happened to their arm. Yeah.
That's a great movie.
Yeah. It
I
is.
want to watch it again.
That's funny. But yeah, I think he's proven that he can play that role if they needed him to. Yeah. Um. So let me ask you a question because so Leia is very still to this point, even after everything that's happened to her, is still 100% like, no, this is the right thing to do. Fight against the new order, fight for the Republic.
Yeah.
Why? What is the actual change in Luke that stops him? Again, I understand the Ben stuff. I understand all of that. But what would make him stop fighting for hope?
Man,
That's what always troubles me about it. It's not the decision he makes, it's what led him to that decision. If that's what he actually did, it has to be more than that because he's not the type of person that just gives up. I mean, look how much he fought against Yoda and Obi-Wan to leave Dagobah and go save his friends. He would never abandon his friends and family.
man, that's $1 million question.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I don't know, man. I don't know.
It just seems so off character for him. Again, it's just off character for him, for me.
Now, let me ask you something. If we didn't get a Luke Skywalker show, and if they wanted to tell what happened
Hmm.
to make Luke that way in Episode 8,
Yeah.
could they do anything in that show to redeem him for you in Episode 8?
I think they could get there eventually, but not season one or not the first season. I think that's somewhere they could get to eventually. I think.
Like maybe slowly take him down that path,
Yeah, I
right?
mean, maybe the end of the first season is sort of where him and Ben have that fallout, where we see them training, we see Snoke, we see the influence of Snoke onto Ben, then we see him, having that confrontation with Ben, and that's the end of the first season. And then into the next season, we can sort of see why he started making that decision. See the sort of mental issues he started having from that decision and give us a reason. Because again, he's not going to just say, "Oh, well, Ben dropped a building on me, so oh well, I guess he's on his own. He's never going to come back to the light side." He's not.
Yeah,
Luke would never give up that easily, especially if
yeah,
he knew he messed up in that moment and made a decision he didn't agree with. Like igniting his lightsaber to try to kill him. He would be like, "Look, I messed up. I got to make this right." That's just Luke to me. That's how Luke is to me.
and you know what, man? You're right about that. You
He
are
just doesn't
right.
seem like the type of person that's just going to say, "Oh, I made a mistake. Now I'm going to punish the entire galaxy for my mistake." That's basically what he's doing. He's dooming the entire galaxy for a mistake he made. I don't see him doing that. Like it's just a weird decision for me.
You're right, man. You are right.
And I can't get past. Again, like I said, I watched it earlier today, so it's fresh in my head. Is when he's getting the milk from that weird
Oh,
creature thing, and it looks at Ray. It gives Ray that look, and she turns away. I felt just as cringe as she did in that moment. That is the weirdest thing ever for Ryan Johnson to do in a Star Wars movie. That is straight out of a Mel Brooks movie. That's Spaceballs. That's not Star Wars.
okay, I have to ask you. We're talking Jedi. We're talking Ryan Johnson. We're talking creatures.
Yeah.
Are you pro or anti-Pogues?
Porgs,
Yeah.
anti-porg,
What?
anti-porgs. They're
Anti.
cute. They're cute. And look, I will say I'm not. I don't care that they're in Star. Like I don't care that they're there. But there's a couple scenes watching this movie again, especially where they're in the cockpit with Chewie and they're just doing that, where it's just like, no, I just no.
How about the one when Huey is barbecuing one of them?
I still love that scene. I don't care. That's one
He's
of the
like
best scenes.
chicken.
Yeah,
He's like
that's
chicken.
absolutely. That's Chewie 100%. And I still remember, do you remember this? But the PETA like got mad about that part of the movie.
Oh no, that
It's
is
like, what are
great.
you talking about?
Okay, I want to bring up one scene.
Okay.
In that scene when Luke goes in the Millennium Falcon,
Mhm.
finds R2, he sees that classic message. That one scene, you see the old Luke Skywalker, in my opinion. Do you agree?
Yes. No. Yes. Right. We see Luke. We see the. Yes, I agree. I was going to actually bring this scene up specifically because of that. When he shows him that, and he said that's a low blow, or that's a. I don't remember exact wording, but he basically
Eh,
says that's low.
That's a cheap. That's a cheap trick or
Yeah,
something. Right.
that's Luke. That's Luke. Because that's Luke realizing, all right, I can't. There's no way I can just walk away from this situation. One, I
Right.
created it, but two, this is my family,
Right.
and he can't get past that fact, in my opinion. That Leia is on one side fighting against his nephew, and his nephew is on the other side fighting against his sister. He
Right.
Luke can't walk away from that situation. He can't, considering he
Right.
created it. It's very weird to me. But again, I do love Luke in that moment because that is, like you said, when you see Luke again and you see him in his own brain, you see it in his eyes saying to himself, "Yeah, I have to get involved again."
Now, what do you think of the training montage when he actually trains Ray? Did you
Yeah.
like that?
Overall, yes.
Okay.
Overall, yes. I don't like that joke in the beginning though, where she actually reaches out with her hand and he tingles
Well,
her fingers with.
I don't know why I love that. For some
It's
reason,
funny. No, I laugh every time. I laugh every time, but I don't think that's not. I don't know.
okay,
It's weird to me. I don't know. It's not Yoda being playful in Return of the Jedi. It's not, or Empire Strikes Back. It's not the same type of playfulness. It's just I don't know. It's different for me. It's weird.
okay, now you're talking about Yoda. What did you think of that one scene with Luke and Yoda talking again?
Yeah. How is Episode 9 even necessary?
Yeah.
If Yoda can reach out the Force and create lightning in the real world, she's all the Jedi. All the Jedi are Force ghosts at this point, so, or at least the important ones. Just destroy Exegol. Find out where Exegol is. Destroy it. It's over. Movie over. I
Right.
mean, those are the decisions that I'm talking about that are just so weird in these movies because you establish the fact that Yoda, a Force ghost, can interact with the real world, and then in the next movie, nobody ever interacts with the real world. We don't even see Luke come back and interact with the real world, of all people,
Right.
which I think is the biggest waste. If you're going to kill him and you've already established that Force Ghost can interact with the real world, Luke, of course, can interact with the real world as a Force Ghost then.
No, we saw him in 9.
We
We
see
didn't
him in
see it.
9, but he doesn't do anything in 9.
He hands him back her lightsaber.
Again, Yoda just blew up a tree with lightning.
No, you're right, man. You're
And
right.
we don't get that one moment where Luke stands in between him and Palpatine and Rey and puts his lightsaber in between them and says, "No, absolutely not. Like this isn't happening on my watch. I'm still here." I don't know. Again, this is all stuff we can debate about, but it is what it is at this point. So it's just hard when you see stuff like that. It's like, well, why would you tell us these things can happen if you're not going to give us the repercussions of those things happening? I don't know, because there's no way. And see, the way I look at this is, you want to bring the redemption story 100% back. Is Anakin shows up in that moment and grabs Palpatine by his robe and throws him into that pit on Exegol, and actually gets his revenge on Palpatine and kills Palpatine. That's the way you end that's the way you end the third trilogy of that story of Anakin Skywalker, where his Force Ghost just comes out of nowhere and says, "I'm finishing this once and for all." And it's Hayden Christensen that walks out, and grabs him and just throws him into a pit and ends it all. That's the chosen one ending everything and bringing balance back to the Force. If you ever,
This is how I feel about the trilogy. To me, it feels like they had two paths that they could have done, and they didn't know what to do. They
right,
could even have taken 7 through 9, make it the Forcing Trilogy, and go down 1 through 9,
yep,
really focus on the original characters, have those 3 new ones, and have them in the background or something. Or, if they didn't want to do that, make 7 through 9 a whole new story with these 3 characters. But,
well, here's my thing. Here's how I think how you actually make these movies better, and this you keep almost the same exact storyline. So when Rey and Kylo have that fight in the throne room, or have that discussion in the throne room where he says, "Join me. Let's throw all the stuff from the past in the past."
right,
That's when Luke shows up. That's when Luke shows up as a Force ghost and says, or the Force projected, whatever he is, and says
right,
he might be right, Rey. He might be right because I had a chance to join my father. My father wanted me to join him and take down Palpatine together. And I chose not to. Now, it worked out, and I was able to redeem my father, but maybe that wasn't the right decision. Maybe you two need to figure out how to rule as a dark and a light side user together.
right,
And maybe that's how we bring balance to the Force, is we don't shut off one side of the Force. We embrace that side of the Force and use it in a good way. But you have the good influencing the bad and the bad influencing the good, or the dark influencing the light, light influencing the dark.
right,
Because to me, that's always what balance was not destroying the dark side, but illuminating the dark side and darkening the light side, basically, making everything gray or one plane of existence, which is what Luke embodied, which was the light and the dark in one person, and the ability to still be good,
right,
which is what I think we could have got at that moment, because Kylo kills Snoke. So if Snoke is the ultimate power at that moment and Palpatine isn't still around, he's not still alive, and he's not still doing everything, that's the moment where Ben can say, I understand where I made a mistake here. Like, you're right. Like, we need to figure this out together. And yes, we need to get rid of the Sith. Yes, we need to get rid of the Jedi. Yes, we need to get rid of the New Order and the New Republic and just move forward together as one. And Luke could see that transition, oversee that transition.
You're right, man. You're right.
Because then he would become the new Yoda of the new, galaxy or whatever, to Kylo and Rey ruling together.
And you can get Pumpkin. You can finally get Pumpkin back.
Yeah. Because the original downfall of Anakin was joining Palpatine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one of Luke's biggest regrets is not joining Vader
Right.
and trying trying to take Palpatine down together. He eventually did what he thought he was going to do, but it was at the cost of his father's life too. Where this could have been an actual third option or a third way of seeing out that same scenario, where they actually join together the light and the dark side, but it actually works this time. And that's the true bringing the balance back.
That would have been good, man. That would have been good.
Could you imagine if Anakin and Luke are both standing there saying, "Look, this is the chance right here, guys. This is the balance we were supposed to do. This was it. You guys have the chance to truly bring balance back to the Force. We will guide you."
You're right. You're right.
And again, this is all hindsight. This is all us as fans seeing the potential and just saying, "Hey, this is what we would have rather seen." But it's just so weird, the decisions they make, because as a Star Wars fan, you wouldn't make those decisions, I don't think. some of the stuff they do in these movies. I don't think you would make those same decisions if you really understood these characters the way that we do as fans.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard. But again, I like this movie overall more than I ever did before. So it's a weird way of saying it, but I do like this movie overall more because I understand where Ray and Kylo are in this movie. I get where they're coming from in this movie more now.
And I wish I could be right there with you. I wish I could like this movie more.
I
I,
still don't like the force Skype though. I don't like the force Skyping.
I,
I don't like that. I don't like it at all. And
well,
if Snoke was the one that did all of that, how did they do it again at the end when he was supposedly dead? Because at this point, we don't know Palpatine's back. So you can't use that as an excuse, or at least in that moment, I guess. But how did they connect again at that moment?
dude, I don't know.
No plan. No
No,
plan is the answer to everything.
no plan. Alright, we can get more into this next week when we talk.
Yes.
Episode 9. Oi, I can't wait.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
why don't you tell everyone where they can find you? Let's wrap this thing up.
Yeah, no, I'm at Twitter at Jedi Master Tuck, and right here with Ben every week. So, absolutely.
And you guys can find me at my Twitter at Ben_Radio. Every Tuesday right here on Jedi Academy. Every Sunday on Unwind with Ben. Every Monday on Deep Time. And I have some news coming at you in a few days, so keep an eye out for that.
Okay.
And you can also find me on the Northern Entertainment Group every Tuesday on We Run That Tape, and on Saturday or Sunday, depending on the week, the Northern Countdown, every countdown on top 5 of anything. So that's us for this week. We'll be back next week. Until then, may the force be with you.
May the
Always
force be with you.